And we are going to say good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to everyone, wherever you may be watching from, to the Township of Douro-Dummer and our regular council meeting of the 4th of August, 2020. I remind you that the meeting is being recorded and it is also being live streamed on the Township's YouTube channel. Now, we will hold the meeting just as we would any council meeting in our chambers. When I call on you to say yay or nay for votes, etc., please wave your hand so we can all see and verify your vote. I'm going to call the roll now so everyone knows who is here. First of all, Deputy Mayor Moher, if you could wave. Thank you, Carl. Councillor Watt. Councillor Landsman. And Councillor Watson. Staff who are with us for this meeting this afternoon, our clerk is Crystal McMillan. Thank you, Crystal. Temporary CAO is Martina Chade-Hartwig. Martina, we see your name on the screen. Our fire chief, Chuck Pedersen. Chuck, are you here? And our deputy treasurer, tax clerk, Carol Ann Nelson. Carol Ann is here as well. Please note that the extra staff are at the meeting. They will have their cameras turned off. So with all of council here, I will call the meeting to order. We respectfully acknowledge that we're on the treaty and traditional territory of the Mishi-Sagig Anishinaabe, and we offer our gratitude to the First Peoples for their care for and their teachings about our earth and our relations. May we honor those teachings. And is usually the case, we would ask everyone to join us for a moment of silent reflection, please. Thank you all very much. We will continue with our meeting. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest with any of the matters that are before us tonight? Councillor Watson, go ahead.
Your Worship, thank you. I am declaring a pecuniary interest on item number 14, I believe. Yes, on item number 14 regarding accounts, as I hold controlling interest in a company that is engaged with two of the companies mentioned in that report, Morris Chemicals and Kawartha Chamber of Commerce and Tourism. And I will recuse myself from those discussions when that item comes up on the agenda.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else with any of the items? Okay, seeing no hands. I would like to start things off with a motion to adopt the agenda that's before us here on the 4th of August. Deputy Mayor Moher will make that motion and Councillor Landsman will second it. All in favor? Motion is approved. All who are opposed? I must get used to saying that more regularly. Seeing no hands. Adoption of the minutes. The minutes before us include the June 16th, 19th, and June 30th meetings. We could have one motion to adopt those minutes, please. Councillor Watt, Councillor Landsman. Any discussion? Carl? You're muted, Carl.
Sorry. On the June 16th meeting, resolution number 12.4, Town of Orangeville. Did we not just receive that resolution? This was regarding the essential workers making March the 17th to Essential Workers Day versus receive and support. Maybe my memory is failing me, but
I'll have to
I think
turn to the
it's
clerk
sensitive
now.
to it because it happens to be St. Patrick's Day.
The top of the morning.
Yes.
Crystal, do you have any recollection of that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, my rough minutes are back at the office, so I would have to look at them, and I can also review on the YouTube viewing of that. But I will double check on that, and I've made note to double check.
Okay. And the second question was June 30th meeting, and that had to do with Resolution 5.9 regarding the Daleview reconstruction. And I think there was some discussion at the meeting about possible savings. Might there be any certainty on prospective savings that might occur as a result of that project just yet? Perhaps it's a little bit early.
I would say early, but I very much remember that comment being made to investigate some potential savings with it. Crystal? Martina? Go ahead.
Through you, Your Honor. Staff were looking at potential savings with our consultant, DM Wills. They were able to find some, but we were still analyzing some other results, so we didn't want to bring something too soon.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, that motion's on the floor then for those 3 meetings, and the clerk will get back to us about that June 16th question. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, that motion is approved. Any business arising out of the minutes? Seeing no hands. We return to item 8 now, delegations, petitions, presentations, or public meetings. And we do have a couple of public meetings tonight, and we will have some people joining us by telephone, etc., to join us on the Zoom. I would first of all like to have a motion to open a public meeting 8.1 for proposed zoning bylaw amendment application R0320. Mr. Moher and Councillor Landsman, all in favor? All opposed? Okay, that meeting is now open. I'm going to turn things over to our clerk, planning coordinator, Crystal McMillan, to give us a run through on this application, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to remind the applicants and anyone in attendance on the line for these applications that I will unmute them after I'm done my little preamble. So the file number before you is R0320. The owners are Neil Bougen and Darcy Burns and Cindy Chu. The location of the subject lands are in Concession 1, Part Lot 12 at 1384 County Road 4 and 874 Payne Line in the Dummer Ward. Due to COVID-19 and the original public meeting that was set for April 7th, 2020 being canceled, a second notice of the public meeting and complete application was given on the 8th day of July 2020 by first class prepaid mail and email as prescribed under the regulations of the Ontario Planning Act. This rezoning is being done in coordination with an application for consent, file B14-19, currently being processed by the Peterborough County Land Division Committee. The lands in question are currently zoned residential zone. The effect of this bylaw amendment is to rezone both the retained and newly merged lots to special district zones. The retained lot will be rezoned to reduce the area and frontage requirements and reduce the interior side yard setback for the existing structure. And the newly merged lot will be rezoned to reduce the area requirement and rear yard setback for the existing structure. Any future development would need to conform to the residential zone. We have received comments on this application. The County of Peterborough has no comments. Edenbridge does not object. Orca has reviewed the application in accordance with their mandate and policy, and it appears consistent with the provincial policy statement. These properties are within the regulated area, so any construction, renovations, or site alterations requires a permit. And there was a little bit of confusion. I did have a request from a neighbor, Wendy Tedford, to join the meeting, but with some confusion in email, Wendy was unable to attend, but she has advised her neighbors that she's unable to support the application.
Did you have any written comments for you, Crystal?
No, and I did email back to see if there was a reason that I could provide to council on that, and I checked my email just before council, and I have not received a response.
Okay, thank you.
On the line for this application is Darcy Burns. He is one of the applicants. Darcy, I'm going to ask you to unmute, but I'm going to keep your camera off just because not everybody's able. Oh, Darcy's unmuted. And Jerry, I am going to unmute you, even though this isn't for your application, just in fairness and opportunity. So I'm just going to mute you as well, Jerry. And I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, I thank you for that, Crystal. Now, as is usually the case, and this is somewhat different than we're used to because we are on Zoom, so I do ask for everyone's patience. We are trying to do the best we can during the COVID-19 situation, and we hope will meet everyone's needs. Any members of council have any questions or for clarity first before we move on? Everyone has a clear understanding of what it is this application is about? Okay, that's fine. Now the applicant or their representative now could have an opportunity to address council over this application. Darcy, is that you?
Yes, it is. Can you hear me, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, we can perhaps get a little closer or speak up a little bit. You're a little weak, but we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, the laptop is now close.
Much better.
We don't have too much to comment on. We can give you a bit of context if you don't already have some. The portion of land that we're hoping to sever is really just 20 feet in width and runs the length of our property line. It was an old road going to Payne Line at the time. So our neighbor approached us at that time, asking if we would be interested in taking on that parcel of land. He didn't see a need for it anymore. And we looked at the land, and we know we're mowing a small portion of that already. It's already on our front lawn. So we thought we'd like to go ahead and do that with no plan to perturb the land in any way moving forward, other than just to move it from his parcel to ours. I'll note that I don't, unless Cindy's with me, I don't believe either one of us was given a reason why Wendy might have decided not to support the application. So I'd be curious to hear that maybe. But beyond that, I don't know if you have specific questions for us or if we've addressed everything you might want to hear.
No, that's fine, Darcy. Stand by in case there are any questions. This is our normal procedure. The applicant would have the opportunity to speak. And now I'm going to put it open. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to make a comment on this application in support of or against this application? Crystal, I'll get your assistance on this for anyone to speak up. Please shout your name or shout out so we know you would like to speak.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I haven't had contact from any other persons on this application specifically.
Okay. Okay, last call. Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against this application? Okay, fine. We thank you very much. And are there any other questions from members of council? Seeing no hands, I'm going to ask for a motion to close the public meeting, please. Councillor Watt, Deputy Mayor Moher. All in favor? All opposed? That motion is approved. Thank you very much. Now, that will be a bylaw 11.3 for the benefit of the applicant. We usually like to get these things settled so they don't have to wait all night or all week to find out the result. With council's permission, I would like to move to 11.3, the bylaw, to approve this situation. Carl, go ahead.
I would move the bylaw.
Moved bylaw 11.3. A seconder, please. Councillor Landsman, is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? That motion is approved. And Darcy, you are good to go. There is the normal 20-day appeal period, as there is with all of these applications. And following that, I'm sure the whole situation can be dealt with. So thank you very much for dealing with us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for your time on the council there. Much appreciated.
Great, Darcy. Good to have you with us. Okay, I would entertain a motion again to go into another public meeting. This is for a proposed zoning bylaw amendment, application R0520, motion to go into a public meeting, please? Councillor Watson? I'm sorry, you didn't have your hand up? No? Okay, then. Councillor Watt and who else?
I had my hand up.
Councillor Landsman. Okay, thank you. We now have a public meeting underway, and I will turn things over to the clerk.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I just missed, did you call for a vote on the opening of the public meeting?
Perhaps I
be-
didn't. No,
I might have missed that, sorry.
there's far too much on my menu here. A motion to open the public meeting then would be appropriate. Carl? Seconder? Heather? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, the meeting is now officially open. Okay, go ahead, Crystal. Give us the preamble on this application, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The application before you is file number R0520. It's a proposed zoning bylaw amendment for Jerry and Elizabeth Garbett in concession 3, part lot 27 at 2100 McCracken's Landing Road in the Dummer Ward. Notice of the virtual public meeting and complete application was given on the 8th day of July 2020 by first class prepaid mail and email as prescribed under the regulations of the Ontario Planning Act. A portion of the land in question is currently zoned D2, Development 2 zone, as it is within proximity to a closed landfill site. Development in the D2 zone must comply with the policy of the township D1, which requires the applicant to undergo water testing to determine that there is no adverse impact from the closed landfill site. The applicant has undertaken the water testing and has since applied to remove the D2 zone. The effect of this bylaw amendment is to rezone the property to a special district zone to allow for residential uses and to recognize the deficient lot frontage. We have received comments from Edinbridge that they do not have any objection. Patricia Robertson, she is not opposing the application, but would like council to be aware of the long-standing dog kennel operations on the adjacent property. The licensed kennel has been in operation since at least in the 1990s and is used for boarding and training of pet dogs. This operation is her sole source of income, and she prides herself on never having received a complaint of any kind. The county has no comments. The conservation has reviewed the application in accordance with their mandate and policies. It appears consistent with the provincial policy statement section 3.1. Mapping indicates there are areas of non-evaluated wetlands traversing portions approximately 150 meters from the road, so back further on the property. And natural heritage mapping indicated that there may be an area of potential significant wildlife habitat on the property, primarily near the woodlands. Mapping also indicates that a suitable building envelope may be present near the frontage of the property, and that an EIS would provide additional detail regarding the non-evaluated wetland. This area is within the regulated area, so any fill, placement, grade alterations, or construction activities requires a permit from that office. We do have Jerry and Liz perhaps on the line. I don't know if Liz is there with you, Jerry, but Jerry and Liz Garbett, the applicants of this the applicants for this application, and I have not had contact from any other persons regarding being on the meeting for this application.
So as far as we know, no one else is joining us with any plus or minus comments. Okay.
You're correct, yes.
Any questions of clarity by members of council over the application before we go? Go ahead, Carl.
Just one, there seems to be a typo. The registered plan on the notice of public meeting and the one on the hydrology report is different. And I just wondered, maybe that's already been cleared up. I haven't been into my email all afternoon, so.
Crystal, can you clear that up for us?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Deputy Mayor Moher, I did go on the GIS and Jerry might be able to help with this as well, but where their property line is, it's the lot 28 starts just after there. So it could just be a typo from the hydrogeologic, but it was very clear that it was for 2100 McCracken's Landing Road.
Okay, but the registered plan is different on two documents.
Oh, sorry, the registered plan, the RP number?
Yes.
Sorry, bear with me.
The house number appears correct, but I just don't want to get too far into the process and find out we've.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor. I see where you're talking about, Carl, on the front of the Hydro G study. That is an error. The one that is on the notice is correct and is the basis of the zoning bylaw amendment that was included in the draft bylaws.
Okay.
We're okay with that then? Carl, that satisfies you?
Yep. Just a little bit confusing.
Good, thank you. Okay, we give the opportunity for the applicant to say a few words on behalf. Jerry and Liz, are you beamed in? If you'd like to say something, please go ahead.
No, we're here, and us anyways. As you say, it is what it is.
Okay, nope, thank you very much. Is there anyone at all, I think we've already answered that question, who is on the Zoom with us, either by telephone or live, who would like to say anything pro or con to this application? I'm hearing no one speak up. We've had no other letters of plus or minus, Crystal? No? Okay. Okay, that's good. Jerry, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, a motion to close the public meeting would be in order, unless council has anything else. No? Okay, Tom and Carl? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, the public meeting is now closed. And with the permission of council and for the benefit of Jerry and Liz, if we could move to 11.4 to the bylaw and let them know one way or the other. Go ahead, Sheila.
I'll move bylaw 2020-43, which refers to the file R0520. 11.4 is the item.
Okay, that is a motion on the floor. Is there someone who would like to second that motion? Carl? Any discussion on the motion? All in favor? All opposed? The motion is approved. So Jerry, your application is approved. Normal 20-day appeal period applies, of course, and then you can get on with life. So thank you for being with us and getting through the whole procedure. Thank you.
And thank you.
Okay, moving right along now. We're at item 9, and this is other business and staff reports. And of course, council has had the opportunity to read and absorb all these reports so far. So we'll start with 9.1, salary grid increases. Martina, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So this is a report prepared. We have gone through the performance review and educational advancement policy here at the township. And I'm presenting this report with 5 names of staff members who are eligible to move up the salary grid based on their performance review and the training that they've completed throughout the year. I would like to note that there is a small typo in the recommendation. It says November 14th. It should read July 22nd, 2020. I'm happy to review the report in detail or answer any questions that council may have.
Thank you. Any questions? Now is your opportunity to ask. The report is before you and has been. Seeing no questions, could we have a motion, please? Go ahead, Heather.
Your worship, I move the recommendation as presented with the adjustment to the date.
And seconded by Mr. Watt. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion is approved. 9.2, an update on seasonal and contract hires. Martina, you again.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So this is a update for council on our temporary and seasonal hires. Previously in June, I'd brought a report forward regarding a leave that we need to fill for the clerks and planning department. That has been been filled. Nicole Zenner has been hired on a contract basis to take that spot. In the Parks and Recreation Department, Billy Leahy has had been moved to Public Works at the start of COVID. He's now back in the Parks and Recreation Department. And then Brandon Mickelwain has been hired as a seasonal laborer for that department as well. In the Public Works Department, Alan Mann has been transferred from Parks and Recreation to Public Works for the position of equipment operator for the summer season. This has been our standard practice for the last number of years. Chad Wells has been hired as a seasonal laborer. He began on July 6th, and Graham Young returned to the Public Works Department on June 1st as a seasonal laborer as well.
Okay, that is an update on our seasonal contract hires. Any questions on that report? Carl.
Just one question, and it's a contract employee. Now, that's to cover the employee leave. So in other words, if the employee leave is less than the normal year, then that contract would be for that shorter period. Is that correct?
It's a 1-year contract. That's what we have agreed to. So we would need time if that employee were to come back sooner to have that overlap to change. So we could bring that back to council if need be.
So we do have the option in the contract to reduce the 1 year.
I don't want to comment on that without the contract right in front of me, but that's something we can look into.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Heather, did I see your hand up? No? Okay. Anyone else? Okay, a motion, please.
Motion to receive.
Motion to receive
And
approve that
follow it.
report.
And follow the report, yes.
Councillor Watt, a seconder. Deputy Mayor Moher. Any other discussion? On the motion. All in favor? All opposed? Motion's approved. 9.3 is the financial impact of COVID-19. No one is getting unscathed with COVID-19, including the township of Douro-Dummer. The numbers are approximate, of course. Staff have done a whale of a job in trying to analyze everything that's been affected because of COVID-19. And I'm sure the final number will not be known for a long, long time. Of course, big cities and bigger counties and bigger townships have even more of an impact, but it's all relative. And there's no question the impact of COVID is hitting us right between the eyes, just like it is everyone else. So go ahead, Martina, if you could analyze that for the benefit of everyone watching.
Absolutely. So through you, Mr. Mayor, this is a financial impact snapshot of the COVID-19 pandemic for August 2020. In June, we did bring a report forward to council, alerting council to the effect that COVID-19 was having on the operations here at the township. We did get updates from all of the departments except from the library. I have summarized them here. It is quite a long report. I won't go through each department line by line, but it is available on our website should anyone want to do that line by line analysis. I will just highlight the overall conclusions. So the total impacts known thus far is $113,737.52. There were questions in the last report as to if we were going to get a premium credit or some type of discount from Manulife. We have heard word that we are getting a $6,500 premium credit from Manulife, so that can be applied to our next set of payments. Other areas that we haven't yet looked into is training and mileage. Both of those expenses will need to be analyzed. But because training and mileage get done throughout the year, they haven't been looked at yet. Many of the trainings that were supposed to take place in spring of 2020 have now been moved to online for fall of 2020. So some of those costs may still be incurred, and mileage will never be the same because people are not traveling to as many meetings, but there will be some mileage costs as well. Many of the budget lines we won't know the full impact until later in the budget cycle or even at the end of the year when we do our final reconciliations. But I'm happy to go through the report. All of our department heads have worked really hard on this document, and so I want to thank them for all the work that they've put into this as well.
Yeah, it's a very good report, Martina. We thank you. And that's a substantial $113,000. That's for us, it's sniffing around a 3% tax increase for the taxpayers of the township in order to generate that money. So it's all relative. Okay, that report is there, is self-explanatory, and is available for everyone to look at. Mr. Moher, go ahead.
A couple of questions. What is our obligation for childcare obligations?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, we had provided flexibility. We do have an obligation under the Human Rights Code and other pieces of legislation that we provide flexibility for family circumstances. And so some of that childcare obligations was us being flexible to staff to allow them to take care of their children and participate in the workplace at the same time.
Next question is on the Parks and Rec. I assume we'll be working on plans for reopening in some limited fashion soon.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, that's taking place as we speak.
Okay, and another question is, because our building department is dollars is basically self-contained, it doesn't count on the taxpayer, and our building permits are off. Are there plans to maybe look at some kind of reduction on some of our costs in order to make it dollar for dollar to offset that reduced revenue?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, there may be some slight overhead costs that we can reduce, but much of the budget for the building and the sewage departments are costs that are not able to be reduced over the course of the year, even if we are not doing as many permits. So.
Okay, so in other words, in a future year, we would be recovering that loss if there was one.
If we get into a lost spot, that would be the case. The year is not over, so hopefully we can continue to recoup some of those costs. As we know, the construction sector is quite busy right now. So.
Yeah. In the approximately 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was getting calls about building permits that weren't being handled in what the customer thought was an orderly fashion. Is that a little bit better now because it's been quiet in the last 2 weeks?
I would hope so. I haven't heard anything. So if you have a specific circumstance, I'm happy to talk about that offline.
Sure.
Yeah, I will. Sorry.
There hasn't been any other complaints come forward recently?
No, I will mention that for many people, they thought that their permits had been neglected, but it was actually because the province had put a stop on permit allocation. So it took us a while to get restarted once we were allowed to issue permits again and clear up that backlog. But if you know anyone who has a problem, please forward them to me so it can be dealt with.
No, I've done that in the past, and it's been quiet the last 2 to 3 weeks. Thanks.
Great.
Good, thank you, Carl. Anyone else? Okay, that is the bottom line that's before us. The impact of COVID-19 keeps on hitting, and we sure hope that there is an end in sight at some point. Could I have a motion, please, to receive that, please? Mr. Moher?
I move to receive the report with thanks from Martina and all the department heads for the detailed report. Thank you.
Excellent job, thank you. Seconder, please. Sheila? Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? That motion is approved. Thank you very much. 9.4, Stoney Lake Triathlon. Martina, you got that one too?
I am. Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. You'll be hearing from me quite a few times throughout this meeting. So we have received a request from the organizers of the Stoney Lake Triathlon. They would like permission to hold the event on August 22nd and to use Birchview Road, Golf Course Road, and a small section of McCracken's Landing Road. The request did provide a COVID-19 mitigation plan. Staff reviewed the request and the plan. At the time of writing the report, there was no parking plan or spectator plan. We did receive those just before the meeting. I have not had a chance to review them in depth as our meeting started at 4:30. So I just want to make that note. I've also reviewed the documents with Chuck and Jake regarding the event information, and they have no major issues with it. I'm recommending that council does support this event. and that council provides permission contingent on staff receiving satisfactory spectator and parking plan information, and that an insurance certificate with the township named as insured be received no later than Monday, August 10th. So we would just need to analyze those additional documents that came prior to the meeting.
So the motion would be to approve, providing appropriate, acceptable safety precautions are taken for COVID-19.
That's right, that the additional plans are satisfactory.
So from what you've heard so far, did it sound like they were on it?
Yep, they've created quite a good plan. They've split the day into 2 separate days, so they have a morning session and an afternoon session. So those who participate in the morning will not have contact with those who participate in the afternoon. They've thought about how they would have people registered, a screening process. It looks like they have hand sanitizer stations set up. So they have thought through quite a lot of items, and I know they were in contact with the health unit as well.
Good.
So I'm hoping the health unit would provide them any additional sports specific activity information they need.
Okay, so the motion would be to approve, providing they come through with the rest of their safety plan. Anyone willing to make that motion?
Yes, I would make motion to follow the recommendation as discussed.
Sheila and Tom, you're seconding that? Okay.
Yes.
Duly seconded. All in favor? All opposed? That motion is approved. Gee, there's a surprise. We have Martina once again. This is the transition of Blue Box to full producer responsibility, which is supposedly underway, and it can't come soon enough. But this is an update. Go ahead, Martina.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So on June 9th, AMO had hosted a webinar for municipalities regarding the transition of Blue Box services to a full producer responsibility. This transition is supposed to occur across the province starting on January 1st, 2023, with all municipalities transitioning by December 31st, 2025. 1/3 of municipalities will transition each year, and official direction has been given to Stewardship Ontario to publish a wind-up plan for the current Blue Box program. Further direction was given by the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks to provide draft regulations by December 31st, 2020. No draft regulations or wind-up plan for the current program have been issued at the time of writing this report. However, at the webinar on June 9th, it was presented that there could be some trouble brewing. The proposal states that only municipalities with populations over 5,000 people would continue to receive Blue Box services. Well, the County of Peterborough did discuss this proposal with three of the townships in the county that would be impacted. That is Ashfordale Norwood, Havelock Belmont Methuen, and North Kawartha with AMO, and no clarification was given at that time. At the direction of AMO, municipalities across the province have been sending in resolutions to the ministry regarding support to continue Blue Box service for those smaller municipalities. While this proposal doesn't affect us directly, it does deeply impact our neighbors. And as the county does recycling as a whole, if we were to lose 3 of our members, that would have a large impact on the recycling collection in the area and the amount of waste that would end up going to Bensford landfill. So the recommendation before you is that the report be received and that a letter be written to the ministry stating that the Council of the Township of Douro-Dummer is concerned about a recent proposal by the ministry that could jeopardize over 135 small, rural, remote, and northern community Blue Box programs across the province, as well as service to schools and public spaces. The Council of Douro-Dummer strongly advocates for language to be included in the regulation that ensures municipalities under 5,000 continue to receive Blue Box service, as was agreed as part of the province's Blue Box mediation, as well as service to schools and public spaces, and further that the council directs staff to forward this resolution to the Association of Municipalities of Ontario and the Ontario Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks.
Very concise and to the point. Any comments or anyone willing to make a motion to endorse that resolution and send that letter? Carl? You're muted, Carl.
I've not practiced enough to get on here. There's another issue on this whole recycling and the product and so on, and that's bale wrap, hay wrap. That I'm not sure that that whole industry is progressing as fast as some of the other parts of the industry. And I'm not sure that bale wrap ends up, it probably should end up in recycling at some stage, but I think right now it probably ends up in the landfill. And if it's not handled right, some of our agricultural people may need some advocacy to manage that, because some of the producers of it are maybe a little bit slow to come to the table of the reality of what to do with the product once it's no longer in use. So I guess in some of your meetings, Martina, I don't know whether that's come up in other townships or other municipalities or not, but I could see that as a concern throughout Ontario. But I think your recommendation is a good first step to keep it on the front burner, to manage it well, moving forward.
Carl making that motion?
Sure, I'll make that motion.
And a seconder? Heather? Discussion on the motion? All in favor? All opposed? Good. Just a little trick, and maybe everyone knows this, but if you are muted, by the way, it just saves kind of chuggling trying to find the little icon. But if you are muted and you want to talk, just press the space bar and hold it and talk, and then let it go and you're back muted again. It's just kind of a one push solution to that. Okay, moving along. Tasso's Creek event. This is item 9.6. Martina.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, this is a report regarding a request that we received from Tasso's Restaurant and Pizzeria. They would like to hold a Greek event within the township at the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church located at 406 County Road 4 on Sunday, August 30th. In order for the event to obtain a special occasion permit, this event needs to be deemed a municipally significant event. The AGCO administers the special occasion permit program, which allows for the sale and service of alcohol on special occasions, such as cash bars at weddings, private receptions, as well as large-scale events open to the public, such as charity fundraisers. This event will provide a significant donation to the church, which has been negatively affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. In the request, a COVID safety plan has been provided by the organizers, and the organizers are working with Peterborough Public Health to ensure that all regulations for public gatherings are adhered to, such as a maximum of 100 people at an outdoor gathering. The recommendation before you is that council approves, or council receives the request, and further that council deems this event to be of municipal significance, and a letter stating as such be provided to the organizers in support of their event.
Martina, just a question maybe, when we do have all these rules in place and the health unit and doing the appropriate thing, is there any way that we or the health unit actively have to monitor it to make sure rules are being obeyed?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the health unit would be able to send in their inspectors to this event, and also the OPP are in charge of regulating all of these COVID-19 regulations and making sure they're enforced. So both of those agencies could attend the event and do walkthroughs to ensure that people are abiding by all of the safety precautions.
Okay, but a comprehensive plan has been submitted, so that's the important thing.
It is there. I can answer any questions that council may have on it.
Heather, I think I saw your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I was just going to say I've had the great benefit of being able to attend the event in the past and recognize that the church certainly plays a large role in the broader community outside of the township, and I would be prepared to support the recommendation coming forward if you're looking for a motion.
Okay, moved by Councillor Watson and seconded by Councillor Watt. All in favor? All opposed? That motion is approved. Thank you. Appointment of an integrity commissioner. We'll move to Crystal to review this report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you. So over the last little bit, council had appointed an interim integrity commissioner as we were going through a joint RFP process with the county of Peterborough and some area municipalities. The county did all the work on the RFP with feed in from the municipalities, and there were 2 RFPs that were received and reviewed as a group with staff from both the county and the various townships. The RFPs were rated using a scoring method based on a variety of factors, including the bidder profile, the experience, qualifications, expertise, pricing, and so forth. Of the 2 RFPs, there was one that received the highest score, which is Cunningham, Swan, Cardy, Little, and Bonham LLP. And so it is being recommended that this firm be appointed as the integrity commissioner for a 2-year term starting on September 1st of this year, with an optional renewal for a 4-year term. So that's part of the recommendation down below before you. So it's that the report be received, that law firm be appointed by bylaw, which is further on down in the agenda, and that the CAO and clerk be delegated the authority to sign the agreement with this firm, and further that Aird and Burles LLP be given notice that their appointment as interim integrity commissioner will end on August 31st of this year. I believe Aird and Burles are already aware that this is coming, as they have been hired by the county for their legal services.
Okay, thank you for that in-depth report, Carl.
Move the recommendation.
Move the recommendation from Carl and seconded by Sheila. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion is approved. Our procedural bylaw, and this is about electronic participation, and Crystal, again, you will report on this. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So in March of this year, the Municipal Act was amended to allow council participation through electronic meetings to count towards quorum in March of this year due to the special circumstances of COVID-19. And then at that time, council passed a bylaw to allow the procedural bylaw to be amended to allow for such. This process has currently been working well. We record the meetings and we live stream them on YouTube. So on July 21st of this year, the Municipal Act was further amended to provide that members of councils, local boards, and committees who participate electronically in open and closed sessions may be counted for the purposes of quorum, even if it's not during an emergency situation. So I have drafted a bylaw for this council meeting that would allow council to continue to have electronic council meetings. And if there is a time when council does want to go back into the council chambers, if a member was away on vacation, they would still be able to participate wherever they're located through virtual means, and they can still be counted towards quorum and vote on matters. The other thing that was provided in the amendment in July is to allow a member of council to appoint another member to act in their place as a proxy vote when they're absent. I did not do any digging for further information on that. I didn't have the time to do that, but if that is something that council would like to entertain, further information could be presented at a further time. So further on in the agenda, I have drafted a bylaw to allow for electronic council meetings. So it's for council to consider.
Okay, sign of the times. What is your wish? Anyone willing to make a motion to receive and adopt that report to Councillor Landsman?
Yes, I'll make the motion to receive and follow the recommendation. I think it's a good idea, and it may make it easier in the coming days because I think it's been going well now.
Seconder? Councillor Watt? you're muted.
Okay, I was trying your space bar thing. It didn't work on the iPad.
Oh, on the iPad, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, it was just a trial, but yes, I will second that. Thank you.
Okay, that motion is on the floor, duly seconded. Any other comments on the motion? All in favor? All opposed? That motion is approved. Well done. Tax implications of further tax deferrals. As we know, we did the best we could do to try to help out in the early stages of the COVID-19 by deferring things the best we could, because we knew how tough it was for some people. And our deputy treasurer, Carol Ann Nelson, is here with her report. Carol Ann, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This report is the third report that has came to council regarding tax implications for deferral of penalties and interest. Just an overview, this report is dated July 20th regarding the financial implications of present tax situation due to the COVID-19 virus situation. The township wants to help taxpayers in these trying times by alleviating the financial pressures for those who may have lost their jobs or find themselves in financial strain due to the COVID-19 virus. However, financial responsibility must also be maintained for the township. In summary, the two previous reports that went to council, one was in April of 2020, which allowed for the removal of interest for the month of April. And then the further one went through and it was continuing on, and there's been no interest levied until now. Basically, the conclusion, and I sent the figures through to council, basically saying that there is a tax implication of approximately $35,000 by not charging penalty or interest for 3 months. And we are recommending that we restart interest in the month of August of 2020.
Good, very good. Carol Ann,
Thank you.
right to the point. What is your opinion on this report and the recommendation from staff? We did certainly do our best to try to help out, that's for sure. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, well, a couple of questions. I'm curious as to why we would continue deferral options for those on PAP. Is there, maybe I'm missing something upon their request.
Okay.
Is there
Carl,
anything that I should be aware of there?
no. What we did at the beginning was we offered to anyone on the PAP plan. They are not charged penalty or interest ever when they are on the PAP plan. They were given the opportunity to delay their monthly payments or due date payments upon their request. I think I'm familiar that some townships, or at least one, stopped the pre-authorized plan. We kept ours going and offered the ability for ratepayers to defer or stop their payments and restart them at their convenience.
Because we would prefer that they continue to pay monthly or on a regular basis.
Yeah, we would prefer it, and we've had very few that were interested in delaying it. And I think, if I'm correct, there might be only one person that is still not back on it, and there was only maybe 4 at the most that deferred any of their payments.
My next comment is the penalty we charge is 1.25% per month, which is 15% per year. When the normal lending rate is between 2 and 3%, and the prime is, I think, 1/4%. Since we started all this, I've had 2 comments from ratepayers about that high rate. And I'm wondering if maybe time to look at that. I know it's a revenue source to the municipality, but some people, and I have to almost hear them a little bit, it appears to be a punitive measure. And I wonder if at some point or another we should really review that. And I know other townships are probably the same rates and so on, but 15% is quite a bit. That's close to the credit card rates.
Do we know, Carol Ann, what other municipalities do?
As for interest rates, I'm not familiar with anybody having any different interest rate than we do. I have not reached out to any of them to find that out for sure. So I can't answer that on if we have the flexibility of changing it or if it's something that's
Yeah.
mandated through another source.
So perhaps it's something could be looked into and come back to us with
Yeah.
some facts and figures. Carl?
I would move the recommendation with the addition that we perhaps look at opportunities to consider lowering the annual rate from 15 to a lower amount.
If possible, yeah. Okay. A second to that, Sheila?
No, I
Not
wanted to
second.
make a comment, but I'll wait till it's second.
We'll need a seconder before we can go on. Anyone wishing to second that motion on the floor? Okay, no motion then. Tom?
Tom, second it.
Okay, we do have a seconder now. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Sheila.
Yeah, I think that I'm not in favor of putting the penalty back on right now. There are those who are still being hit hard by this, and there are municipalities who have, for instance, North Kawartha has extended their no penalty till the end of the year. And another municipality has extended it until their office reopens. And I can't support that motion.
And Carol Ann, the impact of doing it, for example, to the end of the year would be?
Oh, goodness. To the end of the year, I did not calculate. I was basically doing it month by month,
Right.
Mr. Mayor. So I would say to the end of August, we're looking at about a total of $43,000. Or sorry, $47,000.
And that would increase as we move forward. Yeah.
Each month varies, to be honest. So I could, I'm not at the office right now to pull out the reports, but
Okay.
it's pretty similar to around 10,000 per month. So
Of an
I
impact.
would say,
No, that's fair. Is there any other comments on the motion that's on the floor? Go ahead, Heather.
Question to staff, just for clarification. Did you say, it sounds like there's maybe 5 individuals who are currently or have currently requested this relief, like that we've made it available?
so basically what it was is there was one person on the monthly due date PAP plan that requested they not have their withdrawal come out for 1 month. I think it was the month of June. And then after that, they chose to start back up again. So there's none on the monthly plan that are still not having it coming out. As for the due date plan, I think there was 4 people that asked to not pay the June 30th or April 30th withdrawal. I reached out to them and they, I think only one has not started back up again and repaid the same amount through their PAP plan. We just recalculated it for them and worked with them to get it to a comfortable figure for them.
So we've
But
not been inundated with
No, not
requests.
very few regarding the PAP. People want to keep paying it, it appears.
Okay, is there any other comment on the motion that's on the floor? Any other comment? We're going to be calling for the votes. And Carol Ann, do you want to review the recommendation quickly one more time?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The recommendation is that council consider the waiving of penalty and oh, I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong report. I had both of them in front of me. The council consider charging penalties and interest effective August 2020 and going forward, but still offer tax deferral options to those on the PAP plan upon their request.
Carl, is that what your motion is addressing?
Yes.
Tom, is that what you seconded?
Yes, that's what I did second.
Crystal, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just for clarification, Deputy Mayor Moher, did you, what I had in the motion is what Carol Ann read, as well as, and that the town should look at opportunities to lower interest rates included as well.
Yes,
Yep.
I did want that as an addition.
Thank you.
Thank you
That's
for picking
part
that
of the
up.
motion. Yeah. Okay, that is very clear, I think. We will now call for the vote. All in favor? All opposed? The motion is approved. Thank you, Carol Ann.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Item 910 is the award for the fire truck, the RFQ 2020 award. And Chuck, you look like the shadow knows.
He's a hood
I'm
on.
going to leave my, I don't know what's going on with my camera, so I'll just leave it off, but you can hear me all right?
We can hear you. Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so this is just an information report. We worked with our 2020 approved capital purchase of the replacement of a four-wheel drive pickup truck. We sent out an RFQ. We received those. We were not 100% sure with COVID impacts and timelines. There's some comments about not being able to get certain things and building delays and stuff like that. So we sent out an option A, which was our preferred spec, and an option B, which was a not preferred spec, but maybe the best that we could do under the circumstances. So we did receive one quotation for our spec A and two for our spec B. Working with our CAO and our purchasing policy, we have awarded that purchase to Scott Drummond Motors for our option A, which gives us significant savings and operational costs over the other options.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. And this is only for notification. I don't believe you need council's permission. What is it you're after?
No, it's just our purchasing policy says that we would advise council for that amount due to that purchase that's been already approved.
Good.
So it's an advisory to just receive.
We've been advised and a motion to receive. Carl?
Just a question. I realize it's already been approved, but not knowing where Scott Drummond Motors is located, but is travel to get maintenance work done under warranty factored into the price?
Sorry, what was the question? Was travel distance for?
Yes, not knowing where Scott Drummond Motors is located, is travel costs to get maintenance work under warranty factored into the price?
No, but we do have, it's in Campbellford, so it's not very far away.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Carl. Tom?
I'll make a motion to receive the report.
Seconder. Sheila? All in favor? All opposed? Motion is approved. Item 911 is the public facility improvements, recreation facilities. Oh, it's not, no, Vicky isn't here. Martina, are you going to deal with this one?
I am, yes.
Go ahead.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, this is Vicky's report. She is away on holidays this week and asked me to present it on her behalf. This report states, during these extraordinary times, the township must maintain clean and sanitary facilities to ensure the health and well-being of the public and employees. Reducing frequently touched surfaces can help reduce the spread of COVID-19. As we enter restrooms, we are touching door handles, sink faucets, toilets, soap dispensers, and trash receptacles. COVID-19 can stay active on surfaces, so we should avoid touch points in shared spaces when possible. To prevent the spread of germs, it is beneficial for the township to consider retrofitting their facilities and converting conventional commode fixtures to automatic flush toilets and motion sensor faucets. In total, 34 toilets, 7 urinals, and 26 faucets would need to be replaced at the Douro Community Center, the Rec Center, and the Warsaw Community Center at a cost of approximately $40,000. Staff have taken a comprehensive review of the capital works in progress and have objectively identified any capital programs that could be deferred to accommodate this additional expense not previously budgeted for. An option is the deferral of the rubber flooring at the Douro Community Center, which would help alleviate financial costs while improving the public facilities' no-touch alternatives. Other options include allowing staff to begin the retrofits in 2020 with the following work to be done in 2021. At this time, staff are working towards reopening plans for the fall of 2020 with other municipalities and the health unit. The recommendation that's before you is that the report dated August 4th regarding public facility improvements be received and that council approves retrofitting the washroom facilities with automatic flushers and faucets at the community centers and directs staff on how to finance the upgrades.
Okay, that's it to the point again. Council's prerogative on that report. Well done. Thank you to Vicky, who's on holidays. Well thought out. What is your wish? Heather, go ahead.
Just a question through you, Your Worship, to staff and Martina, you may or may not be able to answer. The recommendation to defer the rubber flooring at the Douro Community Centre, if memory serves me correctly, were we not looking to replace that flooring at both the Douro Community Centre and Warsaw? And is that a bit of a missed opportunity in terms of leveraging economies of scale by going forward with both those projects simultaneously?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, you're correct. We had budgeted for both Warsaw and Douro. The cost of the Douro floor would equal the cost of these upgrades. So that is why staff did present it as a potential option. But you are correct. We would miss economies of scale if we didn't do both floors at the same time.
Thank you. I've got no further questions at this moment.
Anybody else on the report? Tom?
Yeah, and again, this COVID-19's put us into a situation that we didn't plan on, we haven't budgeted for, whatever, but it is something we really as a council have to look at. I mean, we're trying to nip this in the bud the same as everyone else is doing their part on it. It's a nasty thing, but I think it's something we have to look at. And a lot of these things are actually they're savings in water consumption and hydro and stuff like that for running these things, because they don't take as much. So there is probably a little bit of offset savings there, but I do think we have to go ahead with this. And I actually would follow the recommendation and cut out the flooring, whether it's the flooring in one or both arenas, and put it off till next year. But I think this is something we have to do to get these arenas back open and start getting them on the go again.
You're making that motion then, Tom?
Yes, I am.
Is there a seconder to the motion?
I'll second it with a question.
Go ahead, second it with a question.
The rubber, how bad is the rubber in Douro? Will we survive another year without major complaints from organizations?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I do know that there were concerns from staff about the flooring. It was very challenging to clean. The new floor cleaner struggled because it was quite torn up. So I'm not in the arenas every day, so I wouldn't be able to provide more information than that, but we could always defer and have staff come back with that assessment as well.
Well, in a perfect world, we'd be able to do all these things when we're supposed to do them and have nice shiny floors, but I'm afraid reality has to kick in sometimes. And I think we made a very conscious decision at budget time that just because something's budgeted doesn't mean we have to buy it or spend it. And I think we better keep that in mind, because things aren't going to be normal for a long time. And I think we better get our feet on the ground and be responsible here.
I support the motion.
Okay, that motion is on the floor, seconded by Carl. Is there any other comment on the motion? Go ahead, Sheila.
Thank you. Yeah, the flooring, I don't know which flooring is worse, Warsaw or Douro, but there's 33,000 was budgeted for Douro and 58,000 for Warsaw. So maybe it could be drawn from both ports and see if we could do some of the flooring.
Yep, hopefully we'll leave that to staff to come up with a appropriate way to balance those funds. Councillor Watson?
Yes, I'd just like to speak briefly about the motion that's on the floor. To be entirely clear, I don't disagree with the recommendation to move forward with automated toilets and sinks for the facilities in light of the pandemic. And further, I don't disagree that council, when we adopted the budget, knew that we needed to be flexible. Both of that, is entirely true. Where my challenge is when if we are going to be issuing an RFP or moving forward with any sort of work, that we do it in a way that is getting the most value for the dollars spent. And I know that staff have reviewed this and looked at money that's already been allocated and spent or committed, and also looked at remaining budgets. I guess where my challenge is when we're splitting up a piece of work and we may be missing out on opportunities to leverage economies of scale where we're having a contractor coming into one facility to do work. It only makes sense to have that other work happening. I would hope that going forward, staff are looking at, as Councillor Landsman had suggested, the budget in a holistic way, and that we are able to make cuts in a way that makes sense, that don't cost us more money in the long run for making that deferred purchase decision. So I can't support the motion as it is, because I feel that there's not enough information before us at this point in time, but I do support getting the work done.
Okay, comment is heard. There is a motion on the floor, duly seconded. Is there any other comments from members of council on the motion? All in favor? All opposed? The motion is approved. Thank you. Painting tender for the rec facilities is next on the line. Martina, get your brush out.
Mr. Chair, I have to leave the meeting for a couple of minutes.
That's fine.
Be
For
right.
the record, at 6:11, Madam Clerk, Carl is vacated. Okay, go ahead, Martina.
This is a report that is before you, again, from Vicki Hallam. On June 24th, the township released a tender for painting services of selected areas of the municipal office, the Douro Community Center, and the Warsaw Community Center. In addition, we contracted a designated substance report to be issued as per government regulations. Upon tender closing on July 24th, staff received 5 bid packages in response. The 5 bids were received from Hastings Painting, G&M Painting, Brampton Painting, Ascoy Construction, and Edem Restoration. The bid of G&M Painting was the lowest bid and met all other requirements of the proposal. The capital budget approved for these projects was $54,500. An overview of the breakdown and costs are provided below. The cost for the municipal office is actually not the municipal office, it's the town hall that's being painted along with the kitchen and the hallway. So that's just a misnomer there. And that is within budget. The painting of the Douro Community Center and the Warsaw Community Center are both over budget. The recommendation that's before you is that the painting report be received and that staff recommend G&M Painting be awarded the contract for all 3 painting locations.
Okay, thank you. For the record, Mr. Moher returned to his seat at 6:12. Okay, you heard the report. Comments from council? No comments on the report and the recommendation. Can we have someone move the report and the recommendation? Last call. Do we have a mover to approve that recommendation on the painting situation? Last call. Heather?
Your Worship, I'm not making a motion. I actually have a question of staff at this point before I'm prepared to make a motion. I mean, to my previous point with respect to the flooring, I'm a little flummoxed that this is coming forward in this way. You know, we're talking about needing $40,000 to be able to do washroom facilities, and the painting of the 2 Douro and Warsaw Community Centers not only is over budget, but totals, you know, the $40,000 that's needed, and yet we're dividing up a job to put flooring in. Can staff, and again, Martina, I apologize for putting this on you in light of Vicki being absent today, but can you comment as to what the rationale is on that?
Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor, the rationale for bringing the painting report forward, is that the question? I'm sorry.
I apologize. The comments with respect to why the painting is being selected to go forward instead of the flooring.
I can't comment on that. I do know that the paint is peeling at both locations, and when the study was done to look at the designated substance, so that looks at different types of substances that could be captured in the old paint or in the old facilities. Both, actually all three facilities did have substances that could cause health problems. So through this painting and sandblasting process, those would be removed. So it is a remediation and a painting. So I could have staff come back to you with further information on that process.
Okay, that would be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be. So in light of that, I would like to move that we defer this decision until staff can give us a better breakdown on the work that's to be completed and the priority of the work that's being done.
Crystal, you got that motion down? Seconder? Sheila?
Yes, I would second that because there's more information. It
Carl?
doesn't.
You're muted, Carl?
One comment I want to make, if we defer it to a future meeting, we're probably deferring it to next year because chances are the ice will be in the rink at our next meeting or or very soon after that meeting. And I think painting in a damp location just wouldn't be an appropriate location. So it wouldn't be appropriate. So bear that in mind, I think, in our decision.
Okay, motion is on the floor. Anyone want to speak to the motion to defer for more information from staff? That's very clear. We have a motion on the floor, duly seconded. All in favor? All opposed? Motion is approved. Okay, let's move ahead to committee minutes and other reports. An update on county council matters. Is there anything to report, Carl?
No, just a couple things. We're into a fully extensive service review, very similar to what was going on in the township. There's numerous discussions about it. We have a special meeting about it and so on. Construction projects, I'm sure all of you have noticed the various construction projects going on throughout the county, and they're well underway, and there's a lot of projects getting done. So I think that's all I have to report, and the normal COVID issues that we hear in the press every day.
Any questions of Carl? Go ahead, Tom.
Just one quick one, and it was just a comment that was made a few meetings back, and I don't think it was in stone, but a possibility. The County Road 4 here, coming from the four-way stop into Warsaw, I think there was some talk about maybe it getting done this year. Is that still on the books? I get a lot of people ask me, it's getting worse and worse, the bang, 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 and a few little holes coming here. Is there anything on the books for this year, or is it deferred?
I don't have my capital budget in front of me, but I can get back to you, Tom.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
I know it's on the books. Whether it's this year or not, I don't know. I thought it was, to be honest, but the year is moving on now.
It is.
I thought it was too, but
it's on the books. I know that.
But it's funny because I saw in Donwood area, there was people out surveying. There was some writing on the road just, by the old Donwood school there, the
yeah.
So
maybe
I just saw that little shot there, and then because there's only a little bit of a section there coming out to where they ended off a few years ago, and then coming from the four-way stop to here. But yeah, if you could let me know, that'd be great, and then I at least have an answer for people. I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll get an answer to that very quickly. Okay, a motion to receive that verbal report from Carl, please. Sheila, and a seconder. Heather, all in favor? All opposed? Motion is approved. Okay, we go to item 10.2, and these are the annual or the monthly departmental reports, 10.2.1 to 2.5. And of course, these are all available for everyone to peruse on the website. Council have had the opportunity to read each one of them, and I think they're extremely helpful for keeping members of council and the whole community up to date on what each department is doing. So we do thank staff for doing this on a regular basis. It's a great opportunity. So I would entertain a motion to receive the staff reports 10.2, please. Heather and Carl.
And I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
Martina, on your, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 point, the liaison for Peterborough and Kawartha Economic Development regarding concerns voiced by tourism. Is there anything there that we at the township level could help some of the concerns by the staff of the EDC?
I'm sorry, Carl, I couldn't catch the very first part of what you said. Would you be willing to repeat that for me?
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The bullet number 6. Liaison with Peterborough and the Kawarthas Economic Development and Tourism staff regarding concerns voiced by tourism and accommodation providers in the township and the effect of moving from stage 1 to 3 on their businesses and visitors. Is there anything there that we as councillors could help with, or the issues that they probably raised have already been solved by now?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that's correct. A lot of those issues have been solved. That was regarding our tourism operators and our hotels and motels and family resorts. They were really struggling when the new rules were put in place regarding what type of guests they could have and how long their guests could stay, and trailer parks versus camping versus hotel rooms. So many of those situations have all been worked out with help from our tourism partners and the MPP's office.
And these items have also been addressed at the
task force
level as well. Yeah.
Okay, the second question is just a comment. Our new bird bylaw and permitting system implemented. This is getting pretty heavy duty discussion at the kitchen tables of the township. As recently as this weekend, 2 different occasions I was bombarded with where this came from or whatever, and in the middle of COVID and so on. But we asked for any formal complaints to come forward, but haven't seen anything yet. The other thing was on the recreation facilities. We're working on, that was about maybe the 10th bullet down, working on possible long-term lease agreements. That caught my attention. Hopefully there is some prospects there that can be very helpful for future revenue for a municipality. So hopefully, is there anything more yet? I guess, Martina, you may not know, but that Vicky might be able to provide to us of that might develop?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I can say that one of the chip truck that is currently in our Douro Community Center parking lot, they are doing a longer term rental of the rec center while the rec center is closed to the public for some of their storage, and they're also interested in a potential lease situation. So staff are working with them, and reports would come back to council before anything would be approved, of course.
Okay, so it wasn't long-term lease for maybe so many hours per week by Peterborough organizations, or?
No, this isn't a sport-related long-term lease. This is a facility-related lease.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Motions on the floor to receive 10.2.1 through 2.5. Well done, staff. Thank you. All in favor? All opposed? Motion is approved. 10.3 is the Donwood Parks Committee minutes of the 13th of May. A motion to receive those minutes, please. Heather and Tom, discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion is approved. 10.4, the County Official Plan Technical Advisory Committee minutes from the 18th of June. Martina, are you on to that one? Tom, you're going to move to receive those?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and Crystal, did you want to comment before I got Carl to second?
I was just going to fill you in on some information. Oh my goodness.
Or are you on that committee? Crystal,
I am on that committee. However,
yeah,
no, it used to be Martina, and then when I came back, I started going. I've also had our chief building official, Brian Fawcett. I had asked him to attend with me. With the staffing shortage in my department, I haven't attended the last 2, but Brian did provide me an update that at this meeting they talked about environmental restrictions, setbacks, etc. But there were no decisions made at this meeting. They were all postponed to September, and they tweaked some grammar. So work is continuing. It's just right now too, with everyone being on holidays. It's just a busy time. So
The COVID has made challenges for everything, no question. Okay, Tom and Carl have made that motion to receive the minutes. All in favor? All opposed? Approved. 10.5, the Police Service Board minutes from the 21st of July. A motion to receive those. Carl?
Move and a comment.
And Sheila, go ahead, Carl.
Mr. Mayor, are you going to show us what a black cat looks like someday?
I will do that.
Okay, thank you.
I will do
It's
that.
my curiosity. You look to be moving it around the township, and I don't know what it looks like.
It's an extremely beneficial device that gives all kinds of information. I think we made a perfect decision to acquire it. So we'll have more and more results. It's going to be in various places, and it gives us very accurate statistics on a number of things. Okay, that motion is on the floor. Am I right, Crystal? All in favor? All opposed? That motion is also approved. Okay, we move ahead to bylaws. I'll turn it to Crystal to give us a quick version of the bylaws that we are approving. Go ahead.
okay, so item 11.1 is bylaw 2020-40, which is a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2018-09 as amended, which is the procedural bylaw. So this bylaw that's before you is that draft that I discussed earlier with council to allow for electronic participation and to allow council members to count towards quorum. Do you want me to go through and just talk about all of them?
Yeah, just a quick review of each bylaw
Okay.
so we know what we're doing. Yeah.
Okay, so 11.2 council has already dealt with that. Oh, sorry, I'm incorrect. 11.2 is bylaw 2020-41, which is a bylaw to assume a certain parcel into the township road system. This is a condition of severance for severance file B73-19. It's a 3-meter or 10-foot strip of frontage along the property that was severed that would be assumed into the township road system for future road widening purposes. Item 11.3 and 11.4, council dealt with at an earlier time. They were bylaws to amend the zoning bylaw for the public meetings that were held at 5 o'clock this evening. Item 11.5 is bylaw 2020-44, which is a bylaw to appoint an integrity commissioner. This is the this has to do with the report that I provided council with a summary with at an earlier point in the meeting to appoint Cunningham, Swan, Cardy, Little, and Bonham LLP as the integrity commissioner. And that's my quick little review.
Okay, I'll make a motion to do the three of them. I think we've lost
There
the
we
mayor.
go. All bylaws will be approved. Seconder? Who's the seconder?
Sheila?
Sheila, you had your hand up? Okay. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to see if you're not looking in the right place at the right time. All in favor? All opposed? Motion is approved. Okay, we move along to action items. And for the benefit of those watching on YouTube, these are requests that have come into the township, as they do to, I guess, every township in the province, asking for a resolution or support. So it's council's option to receive or support various requests. So we move to 12.1, and it's a letter from David McGee about the safety on Birchview Road. Carl?
I would move to receive and have staff respond to that letter.
Okay, thank you. A seconder to that. To receive and request staff respond to Mr. McGee. Tom is seconding that. All in favor? All opposed? Okay. Municipality of Chatham, Kent. They have a resolution about long-term care and to support the government's commission on long-term care. Carl.
I may be out in left field, but all these resolutions, all these action items from other municipalities, I feel as a counselor, I don't have enough background to support on these issues. They're all good issues that if I had more information, I could probably support them. But at this time, I think the rest of them should be just received.
You're going to make that motion then?
Sure, I would move
Receive
that we
items
receive the balance
12.2
of those motions
to
based on
12.10.
that information, my limited knowledge.
Heather?
Your Worship, just a point of clarification. Deputy Mayor Moher said specifically the letters from municipalities. I believe item 12.4 is from a local community group with a different type of request. So I'm not sure if Deputy Mayor Moher would accept a friendly amendment, or I don't know what the motion even is, but if we exclude that from the group, then I would second
Definitely.
that motion.
Definitely.
Okay, so everything except 12.4. Is that good with the seconder? Who's the seconder?
I said I would second that.
Okay, Heather, good. Thank you. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, on certain things like this, like we do with the information ones, could we do them all, like receive them all, but then pull any out that are necessary? Like, can we
Yep.
do it that way, to make it
That's
a little
basically
clearer?
what we're doing
Yep.
now. Yep.
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, that motion's on the floor. All in favor? All opposed? Good. Okay, item 12.4. Now this is about the future of food and farming working group, and the bottom line is they were requesting to communicate more with the townships. And a matter of fact, I met with that group today on a very special Zoom meeting with Mayor Mitchell from Selwyn, and we had a very lengthy and thorough conversation about it. And we are trying to make movements toward being a little more communicative with all the townships in the county, and trying to move the need for local food to a higher level for all of us to understand. This includes the protection of farmland, and it includes community groups getting together with gardens and being self-sufficient when it comes to food. So we will be hearing more both at the county level and at the township level from this group, who are trying to progress the cause much further. That's what that's about. Go ahead, Tom.
So in light of that, thank you very much for that information, because that's something like we just said, more information on it is what we need to make some of these decisions. Based on what you just said, I would like to make a motion to receive and support it.
Good. Seconder, Heather?
I'll second that, and I just have a comment to it as well. They referenced in their letter, actually, back in March, early March, I think it was, they held a gathering of municipal partners and producers and groups in the community. It was down in Millbrook, and council had asked that I attend that event. There is a lot of great synergies going on in the community to support this, and I think that undoubtedly I support Councillor Watt's motion to support the work that they do, and I look forward to seeing more of what they bring forward in the coming months.
Excellent. Okay, motion's on the floor. All in favor? All opposed? Motion is approved. Now we go to information items. And again, for the benefit of those watching on YouTube, these are letters that we receive, certainly a number of housekeeping items, and it's letters that council have received and have read, and they're all available to anyone should they want to read them. So one motion to receive the information items would be appropriate. Heather?
Your Worship, I'll make that motion to receive items 13.1 to 13.10.
Good, thank you. Second, Carl? Discussion on any one of the items, please. Here's your opportunity to drag one out. Go ahead, Carl.
Comment regarding the 13.7, the Douro-Dummer quarterly garbage report.
Yes.
We continue to lead the pack, or in the lead for, and Autonomy says Monaghan, Selwyn, and Cavan Monaghan continue to almost double, and Selwyn especially is 2.5 times larger than us. What do we do to get those people on board? Because with our reduction in the landfill amount going to landfill, these people are not helping the matter. It's getting a little bit, our shoulders are getting sore for carrying them. I don't know whether we do it at the township or county level, but I don't know what other members of council feel about this or not, but they are sticking out like a sore thumb.
Well, if you care to make a motion from Douro-Dummer to county council, encouraging all townships to get on board so that we can all witness significant savings and longevity of our landfill site, I think that would be appropriate. I'm sure staff could come up with the letter and the resolution that can be sent to the county. That's what we need to do. And we've been very responsible and the results are proven. That's, if someone wants to make that, Councillor Watt.
Sure, I guess we better handle the motion that's on the floor first.
Yeah, what the motion on the floor is to receive them all, right? Yeah, okay, let's vote on that first. All in favor? All opposed? Good. Now a separate
I would
motion is
move
coming from Carl.
I would move the wording by our mayor. I thought it was eloquent, to have staff send a letter to the offending people that should be on board soon, because that's a lot of extra landfill that is not helping to extend the landfill site.
Should also go to the city, Carl. They're the largest
Yes,
contributor
true.
of all. If they
Very
did
much
it,
so.
we'd all see huge savings. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that is moved by Carl, second by Tom.
And a comment, please.
Go ahead.
And I may be off a little bit on this comment, but I'll make it anyway. And I know that, I mean, we were guilty too. And since we've gone to the clear bag, I think we've improved major. Now, I do think, just from conversations with other ones, some of these other townships are now coming on board with the clear bag. So hopefully we're going to see an improvement as they progress in that situation, just like we did.
Okay, no other comment? Call for the vote. All in favor? All opposed? Motion is approved. Okay, accounts up to July the 28th. Are there any comments on any of the accounts? Go ahead, Heather. You have a
Your Worship, yes,
conflict?
just a reminder that I have a pecuniary interest. Madam Clerk, how would you like to proceed with this, given the
We'll do
circumstances?
every account other than the one you're involved with, okay? And then you can leave the room.
Two.
There are two, to be clear, yes, and they
Okay.
span multiple pages, but
Everything except the two involving Heather's conflict.
Motion
Go
to
ahead,
receive and
Tom.
pay. Motion to receive and pay.
Okay, Sheila? You're muted, Sheila. You're still muted? You're muted? There?
Yes, I will second it, and I do have a couple of questions.
Okay, go ahead.
On page 147, which is about the third page of the accounts, there's an amount for what appears to be a new postage meter. Is that what it? I don't know. It doesn't say exactly what it is. And I've just lost the amount.
Martina, can you?
Neil
yes.
Post in 600 postage machine. That's a new postage meter?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, that is our new postage meter. We've had that budgeted for a few years now, and it's the postage meter finally saw its last days, and we had our new one installed very quickly.
Oh, thank you. And if I may, there's another one, and I'm wondering if it's on page 149. It's speed trap traffic monitoring, $4,200. Is that this? Yeah. What is that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that is our new Black Cat. Black Cat's the common name, but that's what that machine is, and that was budgeted for as well.
Okay.
And that's what we went together with other municipalities to get
Yeah.
a huge reduction on the price. Yeah.
Okay, those are my questions. Thank you. And the postage meter was nicely under budget too, by the way.
Okay, any other questions on that? And a motion is on the floor. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, and for the record, Councillor Watson is now leaving the meeting, will not participate, I guess, is how we do it, Crystal. Will not participate. You could delete your video even. Okay, go ahead for the final two items. Carl,
I'll move the receive and pay the remaining items.
seconder. Sheila, any discussion on that motion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion is approved. Okay, we invite Councillor Watson back into the meeting. Any notices of motion? I don't believe we have any. Are there any community announcements anyone would like to make?
5 minutes. Oh,
Okay, we have no closed session. And confirming bylaw 2020-45. A motion, please, Tom? And Sheila?
Yep.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion approved, and a motion to adjourn the meeting. Heather? And Carl? All in favor? All opposed? Motion approved. That's it for this August 4th Township of Douro-Dummer Council meeting. We certainly welcome everyone who is able to join us. It will be, of course, the recording on YouTube will be there at all times. Thank you all. We thank you for joining us, and we hope everyone will continue to stay safe, and please follow all the safety procedures required so we can continue to get through this terrible time we're in. Thank you all very much, and good night.
Thanks.
Night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.